Well, do you want to start us off with telling us your name, degree, and what year you're in?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Chaso Alexander Yang, and I'm a fourth year student who's doing Bachelor of Arts, major in political economy and sociology.
Cool. And also the name of your campaign and what colour you're running on?
We're running the color of orange, and our campaign, our team name is Advance.
Are you in a political faction?
No, we're not.
Okay. And are you member of any political club on society?
No.
A political party outside of university?
No.
So talking in terms of your politics then, how would you describe your political beliefs?
Our political beliefs, I will say, so personally and all our teams, we support internationalism, and some of the ideologies I would say similar with grassroots, and we were kind of like working very close with grassroots as well, such as we did a lot of events together. We did the International Opal Card concessions, and also we the Radical Sex Education Week, and we joined different kind of things, and we also agreed with that, like what they believe at some sort of extent. Yeah.
So when you say similar to grassroots, do you mean in terms of like activism? Do you mean in terms of policies they support?
Some of the policies they support, such as kick out the Ramsey Center.
Right.
For sure, we definitely have to.
Cool. So will you be working with Lara at all in any capacity
Yes.
during this campaign?
So personally, I think SRC should be a collaborative like organization and also active. So we would definitely will work with no matter people from different factions, and it will be easier for us to work with them as well, because what we believe is good for students, I think they might do agree as well. For example, fighting against racism, discriminations, and prejudice.
So will you have
Prejudice?
a preference deal with grassroots or with Switch?
Oh, we have preference deals, yeah.
Oh, okay, so what are the details of the preference deal?
Right at the moment we signed number 2 with Lara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking a bit more on your political views, would you say you have like a political hero?
Oh, political hero. So I would say Martin Luther King to the large extent, but on content in Australia, I would say Jenny Lau.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's currently a New South Wales Parliament member, and she helped us to do the Opera concession. She submitted the petition. It's not. So some people they claim they submitted it, especially as the SRC office barriers.
Which SRC office bearers?
Which SRC barrier? Yushun, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yushun, right.
Yeah,
so
Yushun.
what has Yushun said?
So basically he posted something on WeChat saying that he kind of like collaborate with left and right together to submit the petition, but that wasn't true at all, because we were there.
Right, so as far as Yushun goes, he's not somebody you're working with, I presume?
So as far as my concern, Yushun did not participate that much meetings for the SRC, and even the most important thing, the SRC final budget, he didn't say anything about it at all, and he didn't help Nina through a lot of things. Both of them are general secretary, but he's not doing the work, which every work is on Nina's back. So I think that's very unfair.
If you were elected SRC president,
Yeah.
and one of your office bearers behaved similarly in a way you allege Yushun has behaved, how would you deal with the situation?
I will let the most people who are willing to do it and who are the capability are more higher than him. I will definitely let the person to take it over his place, because I want to make sure this organization is functioning well, and I mean that might exclude him out of the maybe we will have some penalties.
How will you achieve that as president, with the powers of the president?
With the powers of president, I will talk to him personally first. As a president, you have to consult with a lot of people regarding to what happened in the councils, and I will talk to him first, and then if he still did not contribute that much effort or time, as a president, we might exclude him, I guess.
But do you have those powers as president?
No, I don't.
Right.
So in terms of Yushwan, how do you think he has affected, representation for international students? Because obviously his platform would have been somewhat similar to yours in terms of, running to represent a lot of international students.
Right.
But you allege that he hasn't really done his job properly.
Sorry for interrupt. So
Yeah.
regarding to the question you just asked, I want to make another extra point is that and I want to use the pressure of the president to ask him to leave, but I will talk to him and then think of the best for SRC, the best interest for SRC, and then he can, we find another person to replace him with a better candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So in terms of international student representation on SRC Council,
Yeah.
how do you think international students have performed on council once elected?
Wow, I would say I participate few of the council meetings, and the turnout rate wasn't that great. And then even they turn out, I think they are lack of responding to the motions. It's like they're sitting there, but they are not actually engaging. And as for my team, for all of my candidates in my team, I will ask them to be more involved, because I want them to to be aware of what's happening, and then also they could engage as much as they can.
Are you yourself an international student?
I'm not. I'm a domestic student.
Right.
But I consider myself as I'm kind of like more related with international students because of my background. I was born in Taiwan, but I came to Australia when I was 3, and I stayed until 9 years old, and later on I moved back to Australia again.
Right.
So I kind of like experienced both of the cultural things. Yeah.
So if international student engagement with the SRC, like in council for instance, is an issue, what are you going to do to improve that engagement?
So what I did so far, what we did so far is to tell all of our members that doing SRC is like a commitment thing, and then I want them to check out all those collective groups first, and then to see if they're interested in SRC, and then I told them what happened about Panda Warriors, and I want them to be aware, so it won't happen again. So it's like a commitment starting from the election, and yeah, and we will see. That's the thing I would say. Yeah.
Okay, speaking more broadly about your campaign then, why are you running for SRC president?
So me, starting from last year, since Panda Warrior appears, I started to realize how important the international student right is, and then at the same time, I was also focusing on different kind of issues around campus, on such as the university topic unlearned stuff, and also advocating for leadership, all kind of stuff. And the reason why I want to do it is because I think I care about a lot of issues on campus, because I was working as a resident assistant for university, and my job was to form a bridge between international students and university. And starting from that point, I realized it's very important.
How would you mentioned the rise of Panda Warriors, how would you differentiate yourself and your movement from their movement?
From their movement compared with my
What are the
movement.
differences between Advance and Panda?
What are the difference between Panda? So I will say our team members does know what's going on SRC. We create a lot of groups to share a lot of informations. No matter SRC or USU, actually, both organizations, sometimes even Supra, and they are really engaging a lot actually. So basically, we'll meet up every week and we'll have a discussion what's going on campus, so they can talk to their either their supporters or their friends. It's like to arise this kind of awareness.
So are you saying that Panda is less engaged?
I would say Panda is less engaged because they don't want to be that active. I would say,
What do you
they
think-
kind of avoiding political issues. But sometimes as international students, you have to stand up.
Okay.
Cool. So what do you see as the most important role for the SRC as an organisation?
The most important role.
Yeah.
of course, just as our team name advance for students' interests and rights.
But how so?
How so? So basically, of course, we will do protests as well, and we have to work with different kind of organizations. For instance, USU, Supra, and all the kind of other staff organizations. But I think we all have to build into like a common ground where we can share mutual understandings, and then we can figure out things together. I mean, the communication between organizations must work together. So I might focusing on working with different organizations, especially student body organizations on campus.
What about the services side of the SRC? Do you have any thoughts about how that?
Yeah. So the service side of SRC, I think the solicitors, because SRC last year, compared with this year, they got 1.8 percentage of increase of the fundings. So solicitors was working from 4 days to 5 days. From 4 days right now is 5 days per week, and then I think it's very important right now, like to increase the legal services, because the demand apparently is getting larger and larger.
Sure.
Because more people are aware that what sort of services can SRC provide.
What will that increase look like if you're elected?
What would that
increase look like?
Give
us the details of how you'll increase the legal service.
So basically, I was informed by one of the pump presidents, the radio, that they might have a bigger office, and so the Honiswa, they can move to that office with them as well. So I was thinking about, with this space right now, currently, this space, we can hire another caseworkers to help out the large demand of the workload.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's not about the space in the office. It's about where you're going to find the salary to pay for that extra caseworker, right?
Oh, what are we gonna find? So basically, doing the salaries, we have to compete with USU and other student organizations. I would say we won't reduce that amount, but I want to increase that. But at so far, you definitely have to talk with the student leaders of that organization, I guess.
So you're referring to SAF negotiations then?
Yeah.
So in the past few years, SAF has kind of stalled and the negotiations have kind of changed. So if you're in a position where you receive the same amount of SAF funding next year, if you're president, and you want to pay for an extra caseworker, where are you going to find the funds to pay the salary of that caseworker?
Where I'm going to find the funds? The caseworker. So pretty much so far I don't have any ideas about how to collect more funds, because that's gonna be like conflicts with each other student organization, of course. But I will do my best to make sure that amount is significant enough to maintain the SRC functions.
So how can you promise things like you're going to add new caseworkers if you have no idea where you're going to get the money from? Can voters really trust this?
I mean, there's something, of course, you have to, I guess, I have to get involved first. I mean, if you sit on that position as a president, and then you will start to know how to work things more efficiently, especially getting the funds.
You can see the published budget document.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
So you've seen how much money the different collectives get, how much money each different office bearer gets, or what the salaries are in total. You can probably see where you might cut money.
Oh, you mean cut money, right? I will make sure I'm not cutting monies from any collective or staffs, but maybe I might consider NUS delegates traveling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cut their travel subsidies. Yeah. Okay.
Would you cut the affiliation fee?
Yes, I might cut the affiliation fee.
To zero?
No, not to zero. Not to zero. Yeah.
No, right.
But if I want to hire another caseworker, I will definitely cut it from there. Yeah.
So earlier when we were talking about the role and function of the SRC, you mentioned working with other organisations such as USU or Supra. Or can you just elaborate a little bit more about that and what you want to achieve by working with those organisations?
Sure. So basically, I think all day and all week is significantly important to a lot of students. and this is my 4th year, so I have been to a lot of all weekend, all days. And I think it's important for SRC to work with USU and Supra. So together they might do some events together. So it will make it more interesting. So people will come while they're having fun. Also, they are being educated about what sort of support they can receive. So such as Centrelink for domestic students. If they have any issues with Centrelink, they can come over to SRC, and for international students, if they need, no matter domestic student or international student, if they need emergency loans, SRC can provide $50 for that.
Sure. These are all services that exist currently.
Yeah.
But the SRC at the moment has a presence at O-Week. It has a stall there which people can go and attend, and they learn what the different services are. What are you going to do differently to make
What I'm
that
going to do
obviously
differently?
better?
So basically, I'm thinking about to work with different societies for sure, because I think it's also important for the president to get engaged with clubs members or society members. So once we let them, this president know what sort of resource they have, SRC offers, they will pass along to those communities. And once the community knows, they will let more people learn about it.
So can you give us an example of, for example, how you would negotiate or liaise with the French Society to make the SRC's services more well known?
So currently, I joined different societies, and so I have a lot of friends. They are now executives of their societies. So I will ask them. It's not asking them, but it's like as a friend, of course, like we can come together, or I can visit the events and to see what's going on, and then also engaging with them. So I would say such as that. I can't force them to come to have a meeting, everyone to come to the meeting, but I can attend the some of the events, or even during all days or all week.
So as SRC president, you want to visit more USU club and society events to spread the word of the SRC?
Yes, I will. I will willing to do that.
What do you see as the biggest problems that the SRC has at the moment with its operation, and how would you fix them?
The SRC right now is the I would say the quorum.
A council quorum?
Yeah.
Okay. So how would you fix that problem where councillors don't show up to meetings?
When councillors don't show up to meeting, definitely have to contact them first and to see what's going on. And then further actions I will take is besides that, there's not much further action I can do, but I will reach out to them as much as I can, because the president position is a full-time position, so that includes a lot of things in there.
Okay. So what do you think is the greatest achievement that the SRC has done in the past 5 years?
The greatest achievement?
Yes.
The greatest achievement for SRC, I would say for SRC is there's a lot of issue there, but I will mainly focusing on supporting the free education these kind of ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like they are active. We are active. SRC are actively on campus, including promoting, campaigning towards a lot of different kind of topics such as Ramsey Center, and there's also some societies that they want to arise their voice for their own countries. Like for instance, there was a international student who got bitten, and SRC they kind of do a protest.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important for us to do, to maintain that too.
So what protests have you personally been a part of other than the international student blood campaign?
Ramsey Center, and what else campaign?
So
I
did you
also
help organize that, or did you attend the?
We attend that, and then we were somehow trying to get more involved. So pretty much we have a WeChat platform, and that WeChat platform is called Nunk. So Nunk pretty much what written on Honiswa, we translate that into Chinese. So to let more people aware of what's going on campus. So I also joined the NTU strike, and also the what was the name of that NTU strike? Also, sorry, I can't. Oh, the LGBT movements.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do you actually have organizational experience with any of those protests, or were you just a participant?
So pretty much I participate, and then from that, I think for us, for now, is participate, and then later on, once we have the, once we become the office bearers, we will start to, to have more power to initialize more
I mean,
operations.
you'll have to learn a lot in a very short amount of time. Do you really think that you'll be able to continue the kinds of active campaigns that the SRC's prosecuted this year?
Yes. This is what I learned everything as well. Like I learn from people. So I think as a SRC, I have to, be friends with a lot of people, and then they will pass along what they, what they learn and what sort of skill or how to organize things. They will pass along to people. Like people, like I don't know how to explain, but it's like you learn from them, and then you be nicely to people,
Sure.
and then that's how people pass on those knowledge and everything to you.
But if,
Yeah.
if we look at the field of candidates for this year, it seems like both you and Lara are offering activist presidencies. Both of
Yes.
you will involve yourself in campaigns. Lara has a lot of experience
Mhm,
as an
mhm.
activist. I mean, as education officer, even this year, like her Ramsey Center campaigns and her disarm USID campaigns
Mhm,
are pretty
mhm.
big. So if we're choosing between two activist candidates for president, and one of them, and they're both offering a very similar view of the presidency, but Lara has much more experience than you
Right.
at bringing that view into reality, why should we choose you instead?
Because for instance, we are not affiliated with any parties, right?
But you said that you have very similar values to grassroots.
we share similar values, but we are not affiliated with them. So which means because as a faction, there's some restrictions that you can do, you cannot do, especially working along with different like left, like liberal parties and everything, or labor parties.
I
For
don't think there are
us, we
any
don't.
suggestions that grassroots is working with the Liberal Party or the Labor Party.
Sorry.
I don't think there are any suggestions that grassroots is working with the Liberal Party or the Labor Party.
I mean, there are some events they will, they cannot work with them or something like that. I mean, like there's some restrictions. There's some restrictions they won't touch on, but for us, so we only stands for students. So we only do things that we will like, it will help students, and then we'll definitely do it, no matter what sort of party that they are from or something.
So as independents, even though you identify as left wing, you would still negotiate with liberals and with any party.
No, not negotiating, but of course there will be like some of them will be office barriers, and then somehow you have to maintain to let them to, because I do believe they have some good values of policies as well. It's good for students. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of your experience, we touched on that before, but what kind of experience can you talk us through that you have that makes you prepared to lead the Peak University Student Body?
The Peak of
The
University.
Peak Union, sorry.
So based on my personal experience, I'm more like a team player, and I always love to take challenges. I'm not afraid of failures, and based on my I think on my resume I mentioned about I did kind of like military service before in Taiwan, and I learned how to guide people and to organize things as a squad leader. And based on that, I moved to Australia. I also work in companies before. Internship. I did an internship with Microsoft before, so I kind of learned how to become a team, more like a team player, to come in the same mutual ground with people, to work together to make things done.
So if your background is in the corporate sphere, does that mean we can expect an SRC that is more corporate under
No.
your leadership?
No.
Well, why not? If your experience is working in a
I mean,
corporate
maybe in
environment?
terms of like functioning, maybe we'll use some Google handy technologies to help us to organize meetings and everything. But Is that the question you want to ask from me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about some of the things you might have to do if you are elected president. So one of the president's roles is to read and approve every edition of Honi Soit.
Yeah.
So this week or last week you might have been aware, Honi Soit published an article by Jay Tharapel in which he was perceived to come out in favour of North Korea and offer praise of North Korea. That article was really controversial and got a lot of backlash. This year's president, Imogen Grant, allowed that article to go to print. If you had been president when that article came across your desk, would you have allowed it to be published?
Yes, I will.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like the right things to let students know. Yeah.
Okay. Students know about
What's going on,
right. Okay.
especially for Honi Soit.
Cool. Well, we might move to some of your policies. So in terms of your policy statement, it didn't provide that much detail in terms of what you're actually going to do other than campaign. So when you say you want to campaign for, for a campaign to be rooted in a pragmatic base, what does that mean?
Problematic base.
Yeah.
So in terms of policy, of course, we're fighting against racism, right? And then I will say we will have workshops how to identify what is racist, and also for the caseworkers and they also are helping students with who experience discriminations. We will, and racism as well. We will focusing on that, and then when I say about that is that I want them to to record what sort of incident happened before, and then later on maybe we can pass along to either the university and also the Australian Human Rights Commission.
So when you say that you focus on caseworkers who themselves have experienced discrimination, does that mean you'd hire more caseworkers, people who come from like intersectionally oppressed backgrounds?
If we can find those candidates, I think I will be looking for those caseworker with from different backgrounds.
So does that mean you would look to change the composition of the caseworkers here? Would you fire some caseworkers?
No. So not saying that, is that maybe if we can hire an additional one, yeah, and then we can find a person who can have for instance can speak multiple languages. Yeah.
So a lot of students would come into the SRC with issues about discrimination and racism, but what about all those students who come in for very, very different reasons, like academic progress or that kind of thing? Do you have any policies that cater to them?
So for the academic appeal, right?
Yeah, or anything other than ending discrimination.
So for those kind of stuff, I think SRC they've been putting a lot of some sort of information and on the Facebook group saying that you can phone this number, but the lack of that is there's not much followers of the SRC Facebook group.
So how are you going to build the following of the SRC Facebook group?
Yes, so that's I can take it back to I mentioned about that. I can take it to why I join different kind of events and societies. Even my counselors or officers, they can go to attend different kind of meetings too. So I want them to like the group and share the group. For instance, follow the group.
So really, the policies that you're offering as president are pretty much just more publicity. Seems like otherwise you're content to get on board campaigns which already exist, like the International Students Opal Card Concession campaign, and then on top of that it's just about more Facebook groups, more attendance of the president at different club and society events to spruik the SRC. Is that a fair characterization of your campaign?
It's not just about publicity actually. It's more about I think it's quite important too. You have to be active.
What does that mean though by being active?
Like when I say active, it's like you attend not just meetings, right? Like or events. It's like sitting down and to talk with different. So what was the question again?
What does an active president look like?
Oh, active president look like? Just like I said, sitting down and negotiating, or approve what sort of events happening on campus, those kind of things. So it's like spending more time and trying to put in your time and effort and trying to to reach out your best capability.
So do you envision that your reaching out will just encompass like your own personal networks and the networks of your counsellors then? Is that what you're hoping to do?
No, but also other collective groups, like SIC as a whole.
I mean, yeah, but like you can only control what you do, right?
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily tell
people what to do, what, right?
The members of your collectives, hey, post this on your Facebook page.
Oh, I won't kind of like post them, but I will like them to kind of like give me like a favor. But it's good for student, right? And then why not we not do that if we can just click, and then and it's like a small favor to ask, which will benefit students as well. And then it's not like a big deal. They have to spend a lot of time to deal with.
I mean, is this really so different from what the SRC does currently? It seems like Imogen Grant, as in her time as president, has opened up the SRC Facebook page. There have been events on Eastern Avenue right through the year advertising SRC services. What are you actually offering that's new or that's going to improve the SRC?
Hold on, give me a few seconds. I mean, to improve SRC, apparently there's a lot of different ways. But my main focus is focusing on the engagement. Yeah, and to let the members to be active. And then that's by active I mean to let the different kind of collective groups to launch different kind of campaigns on campus. That's what I mean to be active.
That's what collective groups have been doing since collective groups began to exist.
Yeah, just like trying to maybe there's more greater things to do. Maybe we can do that as well additionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of going to different, USU Club or Society events to kind of spruik the message of the SRC, will you be targeting like local, international student groups, or would you be mostly focusing on what kind of societies would you be going to visit and spruiking the message?
I would say any single society. Any single societies, as long, any single societies, because I think there's a lot of great societies. I mean, all of the societies are great. They help students in certain ways, and I will try to reach out as much as I can.
Okay. And also you mentioned before, in terms of organising activities, that you wanted to do workshops to help students identify what is racist. Is that correct?
Yes.
So who would you be seeing? Would you be wanting to run these workshops? Would you be running these workshops?
Oh, I won't. Maybe I will let autonomous racism group collective groups to do that.
So this idea you're pitching is like an ACAR event as part of your policy?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any more? Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Is there anything else? Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay,
cool.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Thank you very
We really
much.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Cool.